If you're a fan of fuzz face pedals, at some point you've probably entered into the old debate of which is better, silicon or germanium transistors. Now, there are many reasons why you would choose either one based on tonal preferences or use preferences, but now MXR have come up with something really cool. They've taken both silicon and germanium transistors, put them into one circuit in the brand new Hybrid Fuzz. So the MXR Hybrid Fuzz is essentially both classic fuzz face circuits in one box. This combines both silicon and germanium transistors. So like I said, there are tonal reasons why you would choose either one. Silicon transistors are a little bit more aggressive. Germanium transistors have that kind of warm, more vintagey sound. Now, you can choose either one depending on what you prefer as a player. But now they've combined both those classic things in one box, and this thing sounds absolutely incredible. It's like stacking your two favorite fuzz face pedals in one go. This can give you all the warmth of a great germanium fuzz, but it does have that nice cut of a silicon fuzz. So before we check out the specs of this thing, just want to let you guys know this is not a sponsored video. The guys at MXR have sent me this on loan just to check out. I'm not getting paid for this video, and I'm not keeping the pedal, and all the thoughts and opinions you're going to hear, as always, are my own. So even though this combines both silicon and germanium transistors, it's an incredibly simple pedal to use. Like all fuzz face designs, you'll see here we've got just two knobs. We've got the volume, which controls the output volume of the pedal, and the fuzz control, which is the amount of fuzz and drive that you're getting. Really, really simple. It's a fuzz face, but it just happens to have both those classic circuits inside. Now, what would have been a cool feature is to be able to blend between silicon and germanium. There is a trim pot inside, which I believe is for the bias control, because the more you turn it up, the more kind of glitchy and spluttery the fuzz gets. Would have been quite cool to be able to blend different degrees of silicon and germanium, but that's a really minor detail because, to be honest with you, just stacking them up the way that this pedal does sounds great. The bias control I've reset back to where it originally started. I'm not really going to bother playing with that throughout the video, but if you do get one of these and you want to make your fuzz a little bit more glitchy and spluttery, you just turn up the bias control inside and it will give you those kind of more abrasive, Velcro-y kind of fuzz sounds. I personally don't like that sound too much, so I'm just going to leave this alone and, stick to the more classic sounds. With this being an MXR pedal, you know what the build quality is like on these things. They are robust, they're road ready, they're built like tanks. This also has a really cool, almost slightly psychedelic design here from the design studio One Horse Town, who MXR and Dunlop have collaborated with on a few other projects as well. And we do have the MXR logo in a nice orange here, which is a nice change as well. Rather than it being on top of the pedal, it's actually on the rear panel here. So you don't actually know this is an MXR pedal looking at it from the top down like usual. So that's really all there is to say about this spec-wise. It's very simple. It's a simple two-knob fuzz face design, so let's just plug this in and hear how it sounds. Alright, so gear-wise, I am using my Chapman Guitars ML3 Traditional to start with for some single coil tones. This is going via the Hybrid Fuzz straight into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6 at the back of the room there. That's running completely clean. And the Studio 10 6L6 is running via the 2-Notes Torpedo Captor X. So really simple setup, guitar, fuzz, clean amp, straight into the DAW. The clean tone in the amp sounds like this. So with this being a two-knob fuzz, there's not really a lot of tweaking I can do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the fuzz control set to 0. I'm going to play and I'm going to move between my different single coil positions on this guitar and just increase that fuzz control to hear the full range of what it does with single coils. Even in the 0 position like this, we still get a little bit of fuzz from this. So it starts at a nice kind of crunchy fuzz and then it works up to fully saturated fuzz face tones. So you can see the harder we push this thing, the more it starts to go spluttery and really compressed. In the lower gain settings, it's almost like a kind of fuzzy crunch tone. And then as we go up in that sort of fuzz register, then we get into more of the kind of expected fuzz stuff. Now, what I really love about this is incredibly dynamic. So I'm running the fuzz on full. If I roll the volume back, cleans up really, really well. So we can get some really nice kind of clean-ish tones. If we dial the fuzz back here, we can get even cleaner with that rollback. So the great thing with that clean tone is you can get some quite nice chimey cleans when you just strum. Then as soon as you dig in, you start to break up again and then increase that volume slightly. We have a huge, very dynamic fuzz sound there, going from quite clean to pretty much all out fuzz. The nice thing with this is if you set the gain at around about halfway on the pedal and set your volume on your guitar to about halfway, you get this really nice crunch. So now we're going to hit the pedal with some humbuckers. I've gone to my Stanford Guitars Crossroad marquee and I'm going to set the fuzz back to 0 and we're going to start again. I'm just going to play, move through different pickup combinations and increase the fuzz control. So there you go, there is the MXR Hybrid Fuzz, combining both silicon and germanium transistors in one box. Now, I really, really like this fuzz. This is, to be honest with you, probably my favorite fuzz pedal that I've played in a long time, maybe even ever. I'm really, really into this fuzz. I quite like that it gets quite glitchy and quite weird when you really crank it. That's obviously those transistors working hard. But where I think this really comes alive is when you've got that fuzz control at about halfway. With humbuckers, it works great, but I especially like this with single coils. But I like where it kind of bridges the gap between heavy crunch and fuzz. That to me is where this pedal functions at its absolute peak. I love that sound. Such a usable sound between, heavy overdrive and fuzz. I love it. I think MXR have done a great job with this one. Like I said, that's gone straight to the top of the list of my favorite fuzz pedals that I've tried in a long, long time. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments what you think of the sound of the Hybrid Fuzz. There's some links down below where you can check out this fuzz, and if you want to pick one up yourself, you can do that from the links down there as well. While you're down there leaving me a comment to let me know what you think of this thing, don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.